Hey, mbula everyone. Mbula binaka. I hope that our Talanoa session today uh, is reaching you well, and you can be able to hear us clearly. Thank you for those of you who've reached out to us in terms of reading the poster that I've shared for the Talanoa session today. It's the first Talanoa session for 2026. I have a wonderful program set for the year for 2026, and I will be sharing that with you all in the next couple of days. So I'm logging in from Ngasaundo Farm here in Namosi. Tonight it's nice and cool. This evening it was quite warm during the day, but we're meeting here with family. Everyone is having a wonderful time drinking angona at our Mbulatale family Vakatunoloa in the village of Namosi, greeting everyone, all the Tako and the Labo in the village of Namosi and the village of Navunimbao. Vakumbula sakatukayabi kimnito dhoko na takona labo na sana vakuturanga o Namosi vakatalana ia vi korkeda na leo ni tin katul tale na nonde asane na nonde bono ibiti onu itaka ni rongo bina katikoyani na bio libu ni bitala no na singa bina ni koa au klani so bikim ni sa rongo dati ko na tubu sa ambio na bitala no na bonyongo kero na bitala no tukina bat ke Bex Peterson li weekend na kila na dan na o sesi maramando lang sere ka tiko ko na non program e ngarabati ko me kena dan tiko na Lewa Strong do to na mate law erang karabati ko na nonra tango makina nonda marama ena buku ni bulan rendre eran do lako duruma ena buku ni ibe kara lako duruma ena nonra dui mata bubale ya ena bungi bilang di ko me te kutak na nonda bitala no and then na rongo da matang ko endo na ser na mem kati ko ni te kubuti ko ni ambaki sati ko ngona ser na bonondo moni me semati kenda patamay na bitala no ena singi bilang ni ko nimbula binaka.
Hmm.
Okay.
Bulan eh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
Rolling the meeting.
Okay.
Sai viti lomani na
vinaka pakalevu rong andina na seroya da marotaka ni inda kinda baki tiku kina na viwe kani na nonda vanua viti vakatalanga kina ira na vekanda era sema tiku mena vi se viti ke na vi se burubura ndana wakambula sarango ve sesi seo Bex Peterson varong sarting mengo koe na city level ni lava Okalandi me New Zealandi bula vinaka Bex wakambula mandamai.
Mbula nakwane, nawale na visited mai. Just really wanted to just kind of address this, like we said, this topic while it's hot. So I really appreciate that even despite it being New Year, you've come back from the village to have a talanoa with me. That means so much, not just to me, but to the community really deeply affected by the incident and to the greater community who are affected by the issue itself of domestic violence.
Vinaka Bakalipsari. I was really happy that you reached out, particularly given the sensitivity of the topic. And I know you've been, rallying a lot of our women and families through your Lewa movement, Lewa Strong movement that you have created, Bex. And I really appreciate, the work you've done. For the last couple of years. So maybe to kickstart our Talanoa today, perhaps you can share a little bit about yourself to us. I know many of you know you through your music and through the your name is Ceci on the music stage, but perhaps you can share a little bit of both your music as well as your family. Vinaka.
Naka. Bulvinaka, everybody. My name is, yes, Bex Peterson, but more familiar to you will be Sassy. Most people call me Sassy because of the music that I've put out over the years, especially Fijian pop music. So I started, actually, I was married into Namosi, so I started with typical singing dringy style, around the Talanoa, singing and picking up the language many, many, many years ago, around 2006. Had 3 beautiful children who are now almost all grown up. And I've had a 4th child in the last few years. He's 5 now, Ngonimbua. So I've experienced a lot of what we are discussing. I'm speaking from an internal place. I'm speaking from inside the system, being a member of the community, living in rural areas, maritime regions of Fiji, the city as well, and in the communities around the Wuruvura, especially in New Zealand, but traveling around America, Australia, greater parts of Fiji and New Zealand to our communities, Fijian communities. So there's some contextual understanding of what we're discussing today, and especially what our women are going through and what's not being addressed in a culturally responsive way, but also in a very real, truthful way. So I formed a movement called Lewa Strong that you mentioned, and that was formed in 2018 as a response to an incident that of my, that I experienced that stemmed from domestic violence. And just to be clear, domestic violence takes many forms. So one thing that I think we need to put out in the open, and that's why this movement exists, is that it's not just the typical physical violence that is always what's affecting our women. It's definitely a huge part of it, but there's so much more. So the criminal intimidation, control, coercive control, controlling our money, our finances, our freedom, stalker behavior, all of this kind of stuff comes into play. So I wanted to address it, and I founded Lewa Strong. And the catchphrase or the slogan is this one here: beat your issues, not your Lewa. And if anyone is non-Fijian speaking, if you're not familiar with Lewa, that is the word for girl or woman in Fijian. And it can be an affectionate term, as we know. We can call each other Lewa, woman to woman, but it's also, it's just I guess it's like a global term that we use in the community everywhere that we all understand, referring to females.
Mm,
So Lewa Strong, it was to empower our women to stand up for ourselves, to speak against what's happening here with so common, this domestic violence. It's almost gotten to a stage where it's just acceptable. It's actually not just tolerated, but it's what I wanted to address today. Even it's sometimes encouraged. Yeah, yeah. So that is sort of in a nutshell what Lao Strong is all about. But it has grown over the years because the root cause really sits a lot with our men and not being perhaps equipped to manage their emotions and regulate their emotions. So that mental health piece, really trying to address that as well and encourage our men to get the help they need and supporting them through that. So that's the first clarity I want. First thing I want to make clear is that this is not a feminist movement. It's not anti-men or anything like that. We definitely want to support our men to get the help they need and come back to the family better off for it because real men are healed men. Yeah, so that's the big key takeaway for our men. And just want to thank all of the men that support Lewa Strong. We need more of you, many, many more. And it starts with our boys.
right.
So
Wow.
I'm a
So
boy
what
mom. I
year
got
did
two
you
boys.
what year did you start this movement?
Founded in 2018.
And then
Yeah, um, around the time that you had your Bula Belongs to Fiji
yes.
campaign. Yeah, same time. We were pushing out our movements. And it's grown a lot. And it's also, of course, been out there as a fashion label because visually, it started with the merch
Mm-hmm.
and it was effective. I found, having merch, people, it was eye catching. People wanted to get a hold of it and speak the movement, wear it everywhere they went and represent
Yeah.
Fiji as well. And then it grew. It grew to something. It's beyond just a hashtag and it's beyond fashion now. I'm all about the impact.
Right.
Yeah, so there's some big impact projects in the pipeline. Yeah, so that's
Mm.
Lewa Strong. Mm.
And then you also mentioned you've got three boys of your own, right?
Yes,
Uh, you
one
know,
daughter, three
One
boys.
daughter. And
Mm.
what would you sort of kind of envision them, as they grow up into young men themselves, and they will eventually have their own family.
Mm.
In terms of going through the Lewa Strong movement, what would be your expectation of the younger generation, especially of young Fijian men?
Yeah, it's so important. I feel like as parents, we're in a different time now and we're navigating as we go because we've got technology everywhere around us. So the kids are exposed to probably a lot more than
Mm,
previous generations. And we're constantly having to find ways to navigate through that as parents and being really strong with our values at home. So being
mm,
values based parents. And I'm not perfect at it because sometimes I say, okay, this is the way that we are in our family. These are our principles. These are our beliefs. And then I find that, you know, they're looking out there all the time at other role models. So I have to think, okay, well, I have to approach that another way because it's like
mm,
everything out there is louder than what's happening at home. So, I'm a Christian and I really do try to um, encourage my children to have a strong faith, but it's also their own journey. So, I
mm.
think that we can't force feed that sort of thing. We just have to role model well. The kids are watching us all the time. That's probably one big thing for parents of boys. Kids are watching us all the time. And being present, and it's even harder now with our phones, but being present is
Yes.
just so important. Because if we're not the ones that are influencing them, it's outside sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So being present, and especially for those male role models for our boys. So I would say that the fathers You know, I know a lot of our men like to socialize after work and, you know, meet up with friends, have
Mm,
Talanoa and have grog and stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, but we also need to balance our lives and make sure that we are present. We have a handle on what's going on at home with our kids and
mm,
that we're modeling the best version of ourselves and being a man who shows up not just not just once in a while, but shows up daily for the family, for the community, for their kids. So being involved in
absolutely.
their schooling, being involved in the extracurricular activities, being involved in their spiritual life, their faith, and modeling those values, and first of all, modeling, you know, strong marriage and good marriage values, you know. So
Mm,
that's something that I feel is so important, and I don't think that even with the best intentions, I don't think it's always being executed so well, you know. Mm. Everywhere, that's
yeah, no,
everywhere.
Sarah.
It's
Yeah, no,
modern life. Eh? Mm.
absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, that was something I was interviewed a few days ago, in terms of the use of technology. That was one
Mm.
question I was asked, how effective and the impact of technology to our culture and our families. That was one of the questions I was asked. And then the other one was looking at domestic violence, looking at how our culture, should be kind of elevating our women
Mm.
more than what's happening right now. So it was a really good
Yes.
Talanoa to reflect on what our culture can also support and elevate the value of our women. And I think that's
Mm.
really important that we be reminded, about how powerful culture is to
Oh,
our own Wuvale.
mm.
Um, and so, yeah, in terms of the movement you've been doing,
Mm.
and with the incident in Australia recently. So we'll come back to the Lewa movement, Talanoa later. But I would just like to bring us closely to what happened in Sydney a few days ago, and I know they are closely connected to you. Would you like to share with us how you felt when you heard about the incident in Sydney that many of us heard through the mainstream news as well as social media?
Mm. Naka. Yeah, firstly, I just want to acknowledge the families of the deceased and the extreme tragedy that this is, how traumatic it's been, not only because of the incident itself being very traumatic, brutal, but also because of the media's portrayal of what their version of the truth of what actually happened, that then kind of rippled out into rumors and vilifying the victims and yeah, very toxic spreading of false news and things like that. So yeah, just want to acknowledge all of the affected families, members of the community, especially acknowledge Bulutoko community in West Sydney, who I'm closely linked with, who Anaseni was very close to, and one of my close friends is her best friend. So I knew her through them, and we spent a lot of time together at a wedding recently in August. So I had just an incredible impression of her. She made a lasting, impression, and that's because she was radiant. She had this smile that just beamed and lit up the room, and vivacious. She was so caring. She sat with my friend who was the bride, my friend's daughter, the whole time, looked after her. We sat together. She was fun. She was funny. You wouldn't know what she was carrying deep within. But all along through that, while she was being the life of the party, being fun, being out there, being caring and loving, singing, backing me up on all the songs I sang, Kyla, jokes here and there, all of that, what she was really carrying was so deeply painful. She was affected so badly by this domestic violence situation, but she didn't reveal that. to, out in the open. It was something she carried close to her heart. Just her closest friends and family knew about it. But yeah, I certainly was shocked to find out that that was the case, because it wasn't obvious at all. And that's, I think, sometimes you have to look twice at people who are so bubbly, because sometimes it's like a mask. Yeah, they're just carrying a lot, but you don't see it. So, Lisa, so I couldn't sleep last Sunday night. It had happened Sunday, and I'd had visitors all day, and so I hadn't seen the news. Whatever time the news dropped, the event was Sunday morning in Sydney, and then we're a little bit ahead in time here, and so maybe the news didn't drop till later in the evening. I'm not too sure, because I fell asleep early and then I woke up in the night. Was restless, and I'm a very intuitive kind of person, so it was like something was off. Well, I just opened my phone and I saw a post from somebody over in Sydney in our Fijian community, but not directly in the Bulutoko community. So I was, I needed to fact check something. I was just like a bit confused. I saw the post was in Fijian, and I read the post and I reread it a couple of times, but the photo wasn't matching. The post was talking about domestic violence, this particular tragedy, and mentioning kind of a rough scenario. But still, I wasn't connecting that with the image that was there. And the image had included this friend of ours, Anna Sini. And it was like a disconnect for me because of the shock. So I'm like, oh, I wonder why she's in that picture. Or maybe she was at a grog session with these people that are being talked about. And yeah, then I have to read it again. And then finally I went and I looked up, I put her name and I tried to connect it. And then I realized, okay, there's something going on here. When I finally realized this has happened, yeah, I had a strong physical reaction. I felt very, very ill and really, really upset. And then I just reached out to all of her close friends, my friends as well. And that's when it was hard to really still feel completely like it was real, but as grief is like that. So as the hours went on, then I really started to click that, oh my goodness, this has happened. And the plot was thickening all the time, and then the media was kind of meddling with everything, so it was getting very messy, in a short space of time. How well, just like any rumor, things can just spread out very quickly and it grows into something bigger and bigger and uglier and uglier. And very quickly I could see that, okay, this is getting out of hand, and it's what it's doing is almost romanticizing murder. It's almost saying, well, but you know there was some reasons behind that, or that's what you get. I was reading some comments, especially from our community, the Fijian community, or wherever they might be in the world, and like one that I will just use now as an example. It just said lasa chico na noma chico, and it's like, kind of, well, you get what you deserved, or
Mm.
well, you
Kind of
did, okay.
insinuating, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Insinuating,
like
yeah.
there's some kind of oh well,
Mm.
that's your punishment, almost.
Mm.
And I know I don't look at chat Fiji, but I've heard there was a lot of toxic stuff on there, and it was very upsetting for the family of the victims, very, very upsetting, and very
Mm.
traumatic for the community that were close to her, because not only were they in shock and overwhelmed and distressed and trying to process their grief,
Mm.
they're also seeing, our beautiful friend's name out there, um,
Mm.
with like a black mark against it. So just no honor, no dignity in their last moments. So yeah, that's something I wanted to address when I reached out to you, Nay, is that, I think one is we have to authenticate news sources, because what was happening is that the police interviewed the neighbors. One senior policeman let something out to the media that he shouldn't have. That was like hearsay, an assumption by a neighbor about, this relationship that didn't exist, that they said, oh, that's a new relationship. It wasn't true, but it went out. And then the media starts picking it up. And next thing, the headlines are like love triangle, this and that. So I actually got approached by quite a few of the Sydney and Australian news channels just because I'd done some posts. And I did speak to some of them and just, ask them to rectify the situation and make some corrections. And then I reached out to Fiji media as well around all the channels. Yeah. So and I just said, hey, we've got to change. This is not true. And a couple of other friends did speak out eventually as well. But so that's the first thing. Not everything you read and not everything you hear, even on major news channels, is not always true. And you have to authenticate. You have to check the source. The other thing is when there's been a brutal double homicide, those kind of details are so insignificant. We're talking about two precious lives, both parents, both with small, children who are teenagers and younger, small kids. Epi had small kids. Anna's kids were tween and teen. They're young. Those children are going to see all those comments, you know, and this is their mother, this is their father. So we have to be more sensitive to, again, making sure that children are surrounded by good values and love and care. So that's that. And also just spreading rumors and victim blaming. Victim blaming is so common. Wouldn't you say, Nay? It's so common that, especially women, you see a lot with, for example, with rape cases, that there's a lot of victim blaming. Say, oh, she was dressed a certain way, or something like that. So that's stumble. That should not be happening at all. Um, Nothing warrants going into breaking and entering somebody's home and brutally murdering them. Nothing at all is. You can't justify that. Yeah, and you can't take the law into your own hands just because you're hurting over a breakup. Now, this person, I mean, just not to get into too much detail, but there was a lot of domestic violence when the relationship was on, a lot. And then when Anna finally got free of him, there was a lot of coercive control, stalker behavior, stalking her at home and work, and death threats. She was living in fear for her life constantly. Yeah.
It's
So,
amazing, when you were with her in August during that wedding. Yeah, you mentioned that, how vibrant and
mm,
happy, and her being her own self, with the beauty
mm,
that she has and the smile that she has,
yeah.
she was able to hide, right, all
Mm,
that pain. What would you like to say to many of our women who may be listening tonight, who may be going through the same thing that Anna was going through back then?
yeah, Vinaka, I did briefly go live yesterday, and my message at the moment, I have a strong stance, anti-domestic violence stance, obviously, but having been through this myself, lots of times, um, I wanted to really speak to the women who are living in this situation because it is a very isolated life that they're living. They get isolated by the perpetrator. He will remove anybody that he thinks might enable, you leaving. He will isolate you from friends and family. This is typical behavior, and make you feel powerless. That is the whole aim, is to control you. So I want to speak to all of the women that are currently living like that. And I think about people like Nelson Mandela when he was locked up for so many years, but he got power of his mind. And I think the thing is that you are never alone. We feel alone, but you have to tell yourself a different truth to stay strong, because you're not alone. You have a mind that's powerful, and you're capable of getting yourself out of that situation, and you've got God. Okay, so prayer is so important for strength, but also the very practical advice that I gave last night. There's a couple of things that we women need to be smart about. Okay, you need to pack an escape bag. That is a very practical step, I would say. Pack an escape bag. Get it to a trusted person. So I did this myself many years ago, and I left it with my neighbor. We just knew it was there. It was like a just a safety thing for me. I just knew, okay, I've got that bag there. If anything is really, desperate in a time of need, I can run there and I've got a bag, and, I can sort out a way of getting out. The other thing that sometimes happens is, well, usually it all happens together with a controlling situation, is that your finances are controlled by the perpetrator. So you usually don't have any access to money on your own, or everything you're doing on the bank and everything is monitored. So you need to be very, very smart and save every penny you can on the side. When you go to buy bread and milk, the change, you just keep it, Any little hustle you can do on the side. Make roti or something, anything. Just, I made pineapple pies. I used to make all sorts of things, bambakau, whatever you can do. And just keep some money aside, and it's yours and yours alone, and no one knows where that's stashed. So first thing, pack a bag. That bag has got, Nay, it's like simple. It's like change of clothes for you and your kids, your birth certificate, passports, the important documents, and toiletries. It's just those basics, And then you have your money, whatever money. And I said last night, like $50. If you can get $50, that's a taxi ride and some bread for the kids for the evening. You've got the first meal sorted. It's like day to day. Escaping domestic violence, you're just living in that day. You worry about tomorrow. But, once you've physically left, you have to be so careful who you trust. Because what we're dealing with often is that families want to send you back. And it's like, no, you have to go back to your husband. You guys sort this out between you. And that's, as we've just seen with Anna, that can be sending you to your death. I'm sorry to say, but it's that knife edge kind of, it can be really, really dangerous for women. When you leave, it's like you've disturbed the hive. And so then, if you go back, what you're dealing with is someone very angry and someone that wants to hurt you. And we're seeing a lot of cases where they're not even concerned if the children watch, So the trauma that goes on, we want to break the trauma cycle. This is just feeding it. So I just want to speak to women about that. That's the advice I have immediately is you need to pack a bag. You need to stash some money. You need to find a trusted person. It may be family, but it may not be, You have to really pray about it, think about it. Who can you trust? Because I gave an example last night. One of the times that I escaped a domestic violence situation in Fiji, I went to a trusted person, someone dear to me, a friend that was very safe. But the driver who took me there came straight back and reported where I'd gone. Straight back. Despite me asking, being very cautious and expressing how sensitive it was, straight back reported where I'd gone. So Fiji's a small place, and even the communities abroad, everyone knows each other, and unfortunately, small communities there is a lot of gossip, there is a lot of kakasi, there is a lot of fueling these kind of toxic situations. So you'll find that, I find that women also do tend to kind of victim blame quite a lot as well. It's not just men that are doing that. So we're all part of this. We're all to blame. We all have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, well, am I helping the situation or am I making it worse? Because we can all say, we can all say, oh, that mal, that thing was bad. But then, we get together with our friends, spill the tea, as they say.
Mm,
Everyone starts, oh, but they were in a relationship. Did you see they were in a relationship? So, oh, that's
yes.
her new one there. So, oh, well, that it sort of like starts with
Mm.
gossip and it spreads into toxic stuff. Mm.
Absolutely. And I was, really moved by, Anna's mom. When I
Mm.
was listening to her interview, I think I listened to it like more than once,
Me
just kind of
too.
trying to feel how she feels,
Mm.
as a
Oh,
mother,
God.
losing her daughter. And, it was really, really touching. And I think there was a statement she made when she said, I told her
Yeah,
to move from where she was staying, and what touched me in that statement was the wisdom that her mom has, so she must have foreseen something would have happened because she would have known more. But obviously, we, share our condolences to the family. We wish that, this would not have happened. And I know their family would be listening to us as well today. Um, but for you, Ceci, in terms of the topic you mentioned about someone that you trust, I could see that
mm.
it was her mother, that
Mm.
she trusted so well, and such a
She couldn't
beautiful
get there.
bond that
That's
they
all.
have.
It's a
Yes.
shame that she was far from home. She couldn't get home, but her mother did mention that, you need to get out and get safe because he might come back.
Right.
He might come back. And
Come
it
back.
was like, as you said, spoken from wisdom, spoken from experience. She
Yes.
knows that behavior. And I think a lot of us women in our community know that behavior too personally. It's too
Yes.
common. Those traits, like we see it a lot. And,
Mm.
with the kind of substances going around in our communities as well, we don't know what might have
Mm.
been adding to the mental health of the perpetrator. There's a lot going on that can be contributing to these
Absolutely.
kind of outbursts. And that's a different topic, but at the same time, it's all interlinked, isn't it? And, she did say that, I mean, I think she'd been over with her daughter quite recently. And from little bits and pieces I've picked up, it sounds like he was already making some serious threats, even against her mother. So those kind of threats, I guess that's the other thing I wanted to say to women. Those kind of threats are never to be taken lightly. My experience is it starts with words, it ends in violence every time. Because that's the control piece. That's the part. If the words are not hitting, not effective enough, well, what else is there left? Okay, violence. Show my manly, macho self. I'm bigger than you. I can control you. So, you take the threat seriously every time.
Continue todo. No, thank you
Mhm.
so much, Bex, for reaching out. And I was watching some of your sharing too on your page, and I really, really appreciate, the Lewa Strong movement.
Mhm.
It's really impacting, many of us, not only in New Zealand, not only
Mhm.
in Fiji, but on a global stage. And I think,
Mhm.
the work you're doing and all the supporters will add more volume, for many of us to keep hearing the reminders, yeah, to keep
Mhm.
hearing, what you have on your logo, beat your issues, yeah, not your
Mhm.
lewa, So I really love the fact that you are balancing it a little bit, where
Mhm.
it's not only the impact on the women, but
Mhm.
also helping our men, because they
Yeah.
may be going through issues that many of them sometimes find it hard to share.
Mm.
But through your Lewa Strong movement, you're making it more visible, Yeah, you're making it more easy to talk about. You're making it easy to digest some of these very hard to discuss topics,
Mm.
because it is sensitive, and many of our Itoke way of doing things, a lot of these topics are in the too hard basket and not to be talked about.
Very
But
much so.
what you are doing now, you are bringing it to the center of the table and making
Mhm.
everybody talk about it. Yeah.
Because when we have
So,
women dying, it has to come into
yeah.
the light.
Dia
Yeah, the
Nasarana.
problem,
Dia
eh?
Nasarana. Dia
Mm.
Nasarana. So to our listeners watching Bex, we have
Mm.
many of our families watching too. So for those of you who have a connection to Namosi, Numbulanakwa, thank you
Mm.
for joining me and Ceci tonight for having this
Manapa,
Talanoa
manapa.
tonight. And I know this won't be the first and the last. There will be many times that I'll be setting some time aside
Mm.
with Bex to talk about other domestic violence topics,
Mm.
in the next couple of months, because I know the International Women's Day is coming up in March. So
True.
there'll be a wonderful monthly series that we'll try and organize on my program.
Mm.
So, Bex, for our, listeners who are watching, how can they support your Lewa movement,
Mm.
Lewa Strong movement, and also thinking about Anna and her family, plus
Mm.
also our other gentleman, the one who also passed away,
Mm.
unfortunately, because of what happened in Sydney. What can we do to support your work, Bex?
First of all, I just want to thank you and acknowledge you and Momo behind the scenes there, because what you've done is you've provided a platform that is second to none, culturally responsive platform, very hard to find anywhere, and something that is you deal with these delicate issues with so much care and respect, and at the same time, truth, honesty, and I really appreciate it because, as you said, it's tricky. It's difficult to talk about, and I know for a long time I felt I couldn't speak up, but then, and I honestly believe that God has put it on my heart, and it is my purpose to use my platform to share and to advocate and to have impact in this space. Because, like I said, when it comes to women dying and children being suffering and being affected, then that cuts right through any red tape for me. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank our community who are so supportive of Lawa Strong, men, women, children, Fijian, non-Fijian. Like there's a lot of you guys that have come through, and you've said, "I really love what you're doing," or how can I support? And that's exactly what we need. And when I say we, I mean I'm the CEO and the administrator and the marketing manager and the everything spokesperson, but I do have teams of people that are very supportive, and Bulatoka community in Sydney is very supportive, always been very supportive of Lewa Strong, and I want to acknowledge them and thank them for that. I could cry just thinking about you all over there, going through this grief stage, but how people can help. First of all, please just support on social media everything that you see about Lewa Strong. Please just support, like, follow, share, tag, buy the merch. Do what you can do. Um, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to hear Lewa Strong a lot more this year. We're getting loud and unapologetic. Yeah, I think the thing is that I want men to be really understanding that this is your movement too. Don't worry that Lewa is in the title, okay? That's Lewa Strong because we have to empower our women. But at the same time, we want to get our tangan jina. We want to really speak to the men. And we want you guys to feel like you're supported as well. So you can come to me too with your stories. Women do come to me. They come and they share their stories. And I tell you, the stories, I mean, sometimes I think it's like we live parallel lives, like the amount of similar experiences, but also sometimes it's just worse. And my heart goes out to these women, but also to men who have gone through a lot in their childhood and not been able to process it and are now living in um, unprocessed trauma, which manifests into violence and, instability, mental instability, in whatever way that plays out. We often see it in these sort of narcissistic behavioral things that come through, but that's really because the healing hasn't taken place. But I want to encourage our men that mental health is just health. If you can just think about it like going for a checkup or going to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned, going and speaking to someone about what your pressure in your life, what you're going through, or your trauma, is just looking after what's up here. And this is the engine room. So, this has to be okay, especially to our dads. All you dads out there, we thank you for your hard work. We know that it can be a lot of pressure, cost of living, everything, but you have to show up for your kids. We all do. A lot of us women are carrying the load, and it's not okay. Yeah, that's something that I want to see changing a lot, that men meet women halfway in the parenting. So Lewa Strong's here to stay. Please support our movement. Please support whatever you can. Merch, we're always selling merch. We've got fashion garments coming through and everything, and different kind of impacts and projects that you'll see. Use the Beat Your Issues, Not Your Lewa, hashtag. Speak about it when you're meeting your friends for grog. I'm just speaking to the men especially. And one thing I want to encourage our men, I've told the women a few things, advice, but one thing for our men, next time you guys go and you lose Angona and you Talanoa, instead of, the typical spoiling and making jokes, tauvu, all the thing, that's fine. But go deeper. Go deeper with your male friends. Go deeper with your brothers and your mates, your best friends, and your cousins and tavale and all that. Go deeper and say, how are you really though? Are you okay? How's things going at home? And just a little bit of interest in that deeper level, it can help a lot for men to feel like they can open up and feel like it's a safe space to share. Making that more normalized in our community is really important.
Yes,
Mm,
yes, nice, man. Thank you so much, Bex, for those beautiful words, words of encouragement, words spoken from experience. I
mm,
think those are, really, really impactful. That you
mm,
are, speaking from what you've gone through, what you would like to see happen.
mm,
Also acknowledging the role of our husbands, our men, our
mm,
brothers, our sons, to change
mm,
the narrative and
mm,
have more practical love to be shown, and the respect as well to go both ways. The women to show the respect and vice versa, and also the communication. Um, and again, to our listeners, please let's support Bex and her Lewa Strong movement. I think they're doing such a wonderful job using social media as well to share a lot of these sensitive topics that many of us maybe kind of find difficult to talk about. So Bex, we just wanted to acknowledge you, with your determination and your vision for Lewa Strong Movement. And we are here to support you. And we'll be following you. So if you haven't followed her Facebook page and her
mm,
social media pages, I know you're all on the social media handles. Please go and like and follow.
mm, mm,
And I'm sure, as I said before, that Ceci and I will be back again to continue our Talanoa. So,
mm.
Bex, we are here to say Vinakavakalevu to you for sharing your beautiful memories with Anna. And I think at this time, we would like to think of her and her family, and especially her beautiful mom and her children here in Fiji, plus also her contacts and her families in Australia.
Mm.
And we hope that this will be not repeated in the coming months. We are just celebrating New Year, and we hope that it'll be a more positive year for many of us. Bex, over to you. Your any last statement before we conclude our Talanoa tonight.
Nakane, yeah. So beat your issues, not your lewa. That is the big take home from this. Please just authenticate news sources. Don't just take everything you hear as the truth. And be respectful of, people grieving, especially in these very sensitive domestic violence cases. It's
Mm,
very, very hard for people dealing with that. So please just be sensitive. Think twice before you be a keyboard warrior and go and put some nasty comments. I've had some very nasty comments on some of my stuff, and everyone has been seeing it on the media. So please just be thoughtful in how you engage online always. And
Mm.
if you knew Anna personally or Epi, my heart goes out to you on behalf of Lewa
Mm.
Strong, Sassy, and Talanoa, Dr. T, and our community. We just want to send our condolences to the family and especially the children, especially the
Yes.
children. So hug your children tonight, and dads, please remember to show up for your kids, show them emotion.
Mm.
Don't have to be macho all the time. It's good to
Yes.
cry every now and then and show real emotion. Help the kids process stuff.
Sa man, vinaka mundo, vinaka
Mm.
Tinay Bella for a wonderful Talanoa session this evening. Sending lots of love from Ngasoundro Farm in Namosi. And we just wanted to acknowledge you for taking the time also from your busy schedule. It's late in the evening there in New Zealand. But we send all our love to you and to your team for Leo Strong Movement. And until our next Talanoa session, just reach out to me if you have other topics that you'd like us to cover. I'd love to host you again in any coming day or week. When
Mm.
you have a moment, we can do part two of this Talanoa.
No,
Pinakavakalev Sarbex.
nawalevune, yeah, vinaka.
Naka.
Madimanda.
Wadimanda. Yeah. Naka. Yes, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, acknowledging Bex Peterson, aka Ceci, connecting in from the City of Sales in Auckland, New Zealand, wanting to acknowledge her for the work that she's been doing on her program on Lewa Strong Movement, and she wanted to share her story connecting with Anna and Epi, our two brother and sister who have passed away in very difficult circumstances in Sydney. Our thoughts are with their family at this difficult time. Usava kumadhani wiki mnike Sara, vinakavalevu na nomuni sema mai, and kavinakani sigani kua, wali tuka ni go and vitala no and alomani ni tu tikutiko go nga sound rao, wabini vinakaviki mni na nomuni sema mai, and anoro vitala no bat ke Bex Peterson. Vinakavalevu Sara, metaftal na ngona katarava, go nga o Dr. T, ningay bakanya mo toka. Madamanda